Next, the floor is given to the President of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin. President Putin, the floor is yours. Thank you, President Mirziyoyev, distinguished colleagues. I fully share the positive assessments my colleagues have given regarding the work the SCO is doing, as well as its growing clout in the world affairs. Truly, the SCO is presently the world's largest regional organization. Its members are home to more than half the planet's population. This has already been mentioned. They account for around a quarter of the world's GDP. It also boasts a powerful intellectual and technological potential, as well as a significant share of the world's natural resources. That said, the SCO isn't staying idle, continuing instead to bolster its role steadily, in particular in addressing international and regional issues, as well as maintaining peace, security, and stability across all of the vast Eurasian space. It's of particular import in the current complex international environment. And this is something I dwelt upon in detail in the course of our restricted format meeting. Right now, I would like to reiterate that the world politics and the world economy are about to undergo fundamental shifts, which are irreversible. Increasingly obvious is the growing role of the new centers of power interacting with one another, not on the basis of some kind of rules imposed from outside no one has ever seen, but instead on universally recognized principles such as the primacy of international law and the UN Charter, ensuring equal and indivisible security, respect for the sovereignty, national values, as well as the interests of one another. These principles precisely, that are devoid of any kind of selfishness, either in politics or in the economy, that underlie joint work within the SCO, and it opens up wide prospects for further mutually beneficial cooperation in political, economic, cultural, humanitarian, and other fields. Certainly, one of our priorities has always been and still remains the fight against terrorism, extremism, drug trafficking, organized crime, as well as illegal armed groups. Other key tasks include facilitating a political and diplomatic settlement of conflicts along the outer perimeter of the SCO members, including Afghanistan. And of course, the SCO has traditionally been attaching a great deal of importance to reinforcing economic cooperation. We work together to expand trade and investment exchanges, implement mutually beneficial commercial projects in diverse sectors, and raise the share of transactions carried out in national currencies. As has been pointed out, in particular by the President of Kazakhstan, we're open to working with the rest of the world. Our association is not based on the bloc principle. And we are willing to work against the growing issues such as energy problem, food problem, and they are due to the systemic errors made by the leading economies in finance and in energy. Our policy is devoid of any kind of selfishness. We are hopeful that other members of our organization will follow the same principles and that others who are not members of our organization will stop pursuing selfish policies. There is a very glaring example of such selfishness, namely the decision to exempt Russian fertilizers from sanctions by the European Commission. We know how important these fertilizers are. Yes, we welcome this decision to make an exemption for the fertilizers. But as per clarification of the European Commission of September the 10th, it turns out that these exemptions are in effect only with regard to the European Union countries. Only they can acquire our fertilizers. And what about the poorest countries? What about the developing countries? Since the Madam Di Carlo is here representing the UN Secretary General. I would like to request the Secretariat to look into that. The year before yesterday, I spoke to Secretary General Guterres, and I asked him to influence the decision of the European Commission, and not just verbally, but also in practical terms, to demand that they should drop these restrictions, which are clearly discriminatory with regard to developing nations. It is important to allow access for Russian fertilizers to these other markets. Moreover, the year before yesterday as well, I informed Secretary General Guterres that there were 300,000 tons of Russian fertilizers concentrated in European ports, and we are willing to provide those fertilizers free of charge to developing nations. Moreover, I would like to point out that Russia is expanding its exports of grains to world markets. This year it's going to be 30 million tons. Next year we'll raise it up to 50 million, and 90% of our food export is flowing into African, Asian countries as well as Latin American nations. Further development of business ties within the SCO will definitely go forth thanks to the decisions and documents adopted at this summit. Some of them are concerned with raising the efficiency of international transport corridors, incentivizing intra-regional trade, promoting industrial, scientific and technological cooperation, and implementing high-tech in agriculture and healthcare. It is important to further expand the SCO cooperation in the cultural field and in the humanitarian field. Yet another step in this direction is the agreements and memoranda we are going to sign today on cooperation in tourism and museums. I believe that we have also very good chances to intensify our cooperation in sports, and it's possible to hold large-scale sports events under the auspices of the SCO. We could think about establishing an association of sports organizations under the framework of the SCO. Moreover, as pointed out in the restricted format, the SCO countries pay a great deal of attention to expanding cooperation with the countries that seek to foster an open and equal dialogue with our organization, who are interested in engaging our organization. And in this context, Russia favors, indubitably, a speedy completion of the entry procedure for Iran into the SCO membership, and this is the objective of the memorandum we are about to sign today. We are confident that Iran, as a fully fledged member of the organization, will have a positive influence on the organization, since this country plays an important role in Eurasia and in the world in general. Moreover, we support the draft decision submitted for approval of the Council of Heads of State to initiate the entry procedure for Belarus into the membership of the SCO. We've always spoken in favor of Belarus's fully fledged membership of the SCO, since this country is our strategic partner and our closest ally. That would expand the capabilities of the organization in political, economic, security and humanitarian fields. And of course, we welcome the granting of the SCO dialogue partner status to Egypt, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, as well as the initiation of the same procedure to grant the same status to the Kingdom of Bahrain, Kuwait, the Republic of Maldives, Myanmar, and the UAE. I would like to point out that these are not the only countries that would like to cooperate with the SCO in this or that format, and all the applications coming from other countries and from international organizations to engage the SCO, well, they deserve our utmost attention and should be considered in the positive light. In conclusion, colleagues, I would like to thank President Mirziyoyev for the warm hospitality, for the organization of this summit, and I would like to congratulate Uzbekistan on the successful chairmanship in the SCO, and I would like to wish every success to our friends from India who are going to take up the burden of chairmanship in the SCO today. Thank you.